before 9 at your 105.7 Light FM. Good morning.
Advisory services offered through Second Half Financial Partners, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments are appropriate for you, please consult with a financial advisor. Second Half Financial Partners, LLC does not provide tax or legal advice. Please consult your tax or legal advisor regarding your particular situation.
And the return of the Legal Beagle means it's time to check in on your finances with the assistance of the long-absent Philip Statler from Statler Financial Services in downtown Sebring. Philip, good morning. It's good to have you back.
Hey, good to be back, Dave. It was a great, almost 3-week road trip with the camper out heading up to Indiana. I got to Lexington, Kentucky to see the Ark and visit some friends in North Carolina. So it was a good trip, and glad to be back. I went to an AI conference at the end of last week. That was quite eye-opening as to what things AI can do and how it's progressing. And it's just a lot of stuff out there, Dave.
This is why you were in Indiana. You weren't there when the storms went through, I hope, right?
No, I was not. But
Phew.
the producer of my radio show for the weekends actually lives outside of Indianapolis, and his apartment building got flooded. I mean, thank he was up above the second floor, but he took a picture of his stairwell, and there was water, about 6 foot up.
I had some acquaintances in the Chicago suburbs on the Indiana side that got whacked absolutely terribly. When you mentioned you were up there, I had to ask. To what we're supposed to be talking about today, money. Yesterday was a not good day on Wall Street, and a large part of it, I suspect, was still international events that drove us in that direction, partially because the price of oil went up. But the Dow lost 273 points. S&P was down by over 0.5% as well, down 41. NASDAQ down about 1/3%, down 84. And the Russell 2000 lost about 1/3% yesterday. It was pretty much an even amount of loss all the way across all the categories and all the sectors yesterday. And we didn't have any grandiose economic news yesterday to speak of, so I got to believe a big chunk of it was President Trump saying that, not only are we going to keep the blockade on Iran, but if Oman keeps talking to them without us along with them, we're going to bomb Oman, too. And I'll bet you that went over like flatulence in church on the international front, wouldn't you bet?
I'm thinking so. You start talking about bombing anything right now, and it's going to definitely be not good for the markets at all.
Top of that, I'm not sure we've got the bombs anymore. The word is our supplies are running short.
That's not good.
Yeah, it could be good for defense stocks if we got to make more. Got some economic indicators this morning. It's going to be a quiet week as far as government data dump is concerned. The major movers took place over the last 3 days of last week when we got some relatively good inflation news and some relatively good unemployment news. But we do have an idea kind of confirming inflation. I gather that our import prices are looking a little bit better, aren't they?
They did. Import prices fell actually for the month of July to 0.4% down. They were expected to go up 0.1%. And if you look at June, they were up 0.3%. So that's kind of a nice little change there. And so we definitely appreciate import prices coming down. Now, if we can just get all the prices coming down, we'd be happy.
Oh, dreamer. But that does have a tendency to confirm a little bit the relatively good inflation news we've got, because both the producer price index and the consumer price index rose less than anybody expected to. If I remember correctly, last week, the producer price index top line was absolutely flat, dead zero for the month of July. So, no, we're not where we need to be, but at the very least, that's one more element that we can add into hopeful news as far as inflation is concerned. That definitely helped the markets with the expectation for interest rate increases at next month's Fed meeting going way down. I mean, like 30 points lower on the Fed Watch index for the likelihood of an increase. And that kind of made the market happy in general, didn't it?
It did. It did. So we'll see what we get. Well, we get the FOMC meeting minutes come out tomorrow, don't they?
I think so, yeah. About
Yep.
last month's FOMC meeting.
Right.
There isn't a Fed meeting this month. They skip August, and then they go on to September. So we've got 2 months worth of data they're going to be digesting. But at the very least, the data they get in August was good news. How did
Yeah, it
housing
was.
starts do? I understand we got some of those as well.
Yeah, they did okay, but not as well as expected. The expectation was for them to come in at about 1.3 million. They came in at 1.2. And if we compare that to June, yeah, that's about 200,000 less. We had 1.4 million in June. Now we're down to 1.2 million housing starts in July. So still in the positive, but just not as much as was expected.
Understood. We've got a bunch of reports coming out later on in the week from a sector that we watch pretty carefully, a bunch of big box retailers. The TJ Maxx people will be reporting tomorrow. We're going to get Walmart coming up on Thursday, along with Alibaba and Ross. There's not a lot going on relative. We got one report to talk about, but probably the biggest headline news, given the fact that it's a glamour sector, is Meta is going on trial today out in California, claiming that they have customized their algorithms to addict our kids to social media, which I think most of us probably figured out. We already knew they'd done that 20 years ago, but now all of a sudden they're in court. I was absolutely gobsmacked to read that the plaintiffs in this group of states, their attorney generals, are suing Meta, could lose a judgment of $1.3 trillion. I haven't checked their market cap, but that's if it's not more than their market cap, it's definitely in the league, isn't it?
Yeah, and let's just kind of look at a couple things here. I mean, that's not good news for Meta. Let's just face it. Their stock price is taking a beating right now because of it. But let's look at where this is, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
California.
Yep.
And so you have to realize that, I don't know what'll happen, but just from what we've seen happening in that area of the country, a lot of that stuff gets overturned on appeal. So if they lose, I'm sure there'll be an appeal.
You are choosing your words so darn carefully there, I can't help it. Yeah, it is. Putting Meta on trial in California is kind of like putting President Trump on trial in New York. Whether he's guilty or innocent doesn't matter. The end is a foregone conclusion, right?
Yeah, exactly. It'll definitely, if they lose, they'll definitely get, appealed, and if they can get the appeal out of that area, who knows what'll happen. But let's face it, it's a big unknown, and what the stock price is not like unknowns, and so that's definitely affecting their stock price.
Oh yeah, the risk factor is decidedly high, no matter how hot. I had Meta losing over 3.5% yesterday, just on the fact that the trial was starting today. We did hear one report, and I didn't even know they were on the calendar, so you surprised me when you had it this morning. How did Home Depot do last quarter?
Home Depot had a good quarter, Dave. They came in at $4.92 a share, better than the $4.73 expected. They also beat on revenue by, I don't know, about $500 million. So, look, it looks good for them right now. I was trying to look through the report real quick to see. I think some of it may be because, housing has slowed down still, and so people are deciding, well, I need to fix some things up to get my house ready to sell. If I'm going to keep it, I need to fix some other things up. So I think that may be helping that sector of the market right now.
All right. Among the things you told me you were doing over the time that you were on vacation is a seminar. Anything you'd like to share with us as far as planning one's retirement? New information that you learned while you were out?
No, not really. I did a lot of AI stuff, just kind of learn more about AI and how to use it more effectively for that standpoint. But I do real quick, let's do a Tax Tuesday, Dave, because one thing I want to let people know is that when we're talking about non-retirement accounts, non-IRAs, right? The income we earn off of those investments is taxed differently. If you have mutual funds in a non-retirement account, they can pay out capital gains, long-term capital gains, which get taxed favorably. You can get taxed ordinarily dividends can come out, and those dividends can be taxed as either ordinary income, or if they're a qualified dividend, they get taxed as long-term capital gains. So how you invest your money really does affect taxes. And so it's important that you understand the tax implications of your non-retirement investments, because those are things you're going to pay tax on every year. And we want to make sure that we're being as tax efficient as possible, as we, especially now, we're coming into the close of this, almost in the fourth quarter now, before we know it, Dave. And in the fourth quarter is when mutual funds pay out their capital gains. And I've seen people get whacked pretty hard. They end up with a big capital gain they weren't expecting, and all of a sudden they have a big tax bill that they hadn't accounted on.
One more reason to always have a good financial advisor in your back pocket to make sure you plan ahead, right?
Well, it is. And you need to have somebody that's up and understands how taxes work when it comes to investments.
Understood. Resetting the table for the morning. It was kind of a reset yesterday. All the markets were down by between 1/3 and 0.5% at the end of the day. 45 minutes before we open, what are we looking at this morning?
Well, Dave, you caught me sleeping on my feet here. Here we go. I got them. So right now they are down. The Dow is down 1/10%. Nothing to really be concerned about there. However, the S&P 500 is down almost 0.5%. And the NASDAQ 100 down 1.3% right now, Dave. Not good. Looking at the commodity side, we've got silver and gold both down. Silver is down almost 1.6%. Gold's down a little over 0.5%. And crude oil, Dave, is heading the wrong daggum way. Up 0.8% to $84.40 a barrel. Dave, let me just tell you. To pull my trailer, I upgraded my truck and got a diesel, so I really need those oil prices to go down.
And $85 ain't helping it a bit. President Trump and his tweets just cost us some money on that one. Looking across the pond, the Asian Rim market was none too happy with our saber rattling either. The two mainland Chinese indexes, one of them was off by over 0.5%, average is downward. The mainland Chinese index is down by about 0.25% at the 6 a.m. close. Europe equally unhappy. The average European index down by a little over 1/3% halfway through the European trading day. Got to get the risk out of my portfolio on something like that and maybe find an economy truck, Philip. How do I find you to get that advice?
Dave, then give us a call at 863-382-0037. Love to spend 30 minutes with them discussing where they are, where they need to get to, and how to do it. And then catch the Statler Financial Radio Show this weekend, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 7:30 a.m., 95.3 FM.
And you and me again tomorrow morning, and I promise not to tell you what kind of mileage I get on my little four-banger, right? Be well, my friend. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, take care.
Thank you. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Philip Statler.
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. Hope your day goes well. Join us again tomorrow. Take care. Bye now.